Good evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 for Monday, October 18th, 2021. The NASDAQ continued higher today, and as you can see, pretty much straight from the opening. Again, this is the 4-hour chart. We had a very strong rally right up to the 10 o'clock hour or 1 o'clock Eastern, and then continue that rally right through to the close. And we did have small little downside moves, but the basic trend for the day was very strong up. So how that fits in to what we are dealing with and what we're discussing is that the count remains the same. But as I stated in the notes for today's update, the market will, if it breaks above 15,400, which almost seems like a given at this stage of where the NASDAQ sits, then this count will change by degree. So the actual moves themselves will remain the same, but I will go back up to this top and I will lower the degree. So instead of being a minor wave 1 and 2, it will be a minute 1 and 2. And then this will bring it all the way down. And this would change and be minor wave A. This would be minor wave B. And this would be a minor wave C to complete an intermediate wave A. So that would be the change. But I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt that the NASDAQ may hold below 15,400 and complete this ABC sequence at maybe 15,366 or below 15,400. If that occurs, then I will mark this as a 5, put it as a B, and label it a minor wave 2. And then look for that minor third to start within an intermediate third wave. So until this actually happens, I really would like to leave the count the same. But let me just say that in the S&P, I've had to make that switch. I've had to. And the NASDAQ and the S&P, because of the overlap and the weightings on the overlap of the stocks that are common to both, their counts have been identical. And based on that is why I am stating, that what I would do, but I will wait for that break, which would create it. So I don't want to jump the gun. But I will tell you again that if anything, we're counting a fifth wave up within wave C. But that fifth wave, I would expect, is going to subdivide. So possibly what we're finishing up here is just the first wave, wave 1 of 5. We'll get a pullback that likely could bring us back into 15,166, maybe as low as 15,000, what is that, 60. We're going to say, this is not going to tell me what's really going to, no, excuse me, 77. So it could be down to 15,077, 75, and then start, to complete a wave 2, and then do a wave 3 of 5. So again, it is still rally mode. And there's more interest now in continuing to push higher based on what the market feels are going to come out in earnings. Now, just to do a quick review of the larger players in the NASDAQ, tomorrow Netflix reports, and then on Wednesday, Tesla reports. On Thursday, Chipotle Grill reports. Facebook reports on the 25th. Advanced Micro, which is not a part of the NASDAQ, but still being a chip maker, it is a tech stock and would have a pull, I believe, on other component stocks within the NASDAQ. AMD reports on the 26th, Microsoft reports on the 26th, Amazon's on the 28th, and Apple is on the 28th. So we have, starting tomorrow to the end of the week, we have a few, and then actually starting next Monday, so it's Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday, we have a boatload of stocks reporting. And one that I forgot to mention, and I'll do it right now, is Google. And Google reports on the 26th. So Google is going to be on Tuesday the 26th. And again, Facebook comes in on the 25th. So what does that portend for us? The market, I believe, until we start getting these earnings reports in and the market can gauge what it feels, then will be the balance of these tech giants, that we will continue to head higher. Now, if this change occurs, where I'm going to put this as a C wave, and then it's going to be an intermediate A wave, and this is all a part of an intermediate B wave, that B wave has a lot of room. Again, this is signifying that we're going to get a subdivided fifth wave, and that could really push us up towards 15,600, maybe as high as 15,700, and it could challenge the highs at 15,709. It's 09, breaks to a new high. What the market wants to do with that, we'll have to wait and see. But again, it's not going to change my count, because I still believe this is the high that completed all of those advancing sequences, all the way up to supercycle level. And I will fill that out when I go in and make my changes here. Now, what that would suggest, if this is still an ABC and we go up to make a new high, it's then what Elliott termed an irregular B wave. An irregular B wave can move to a new high or new low, depending on the direction. And then the market would just collapse, basically. And when I say that, I feel that it will drop in a C wave, because once wave B is complete, what comes next? A C wave. So if this holds below, and I can label this as a minor wave 2 of 3, then we're still going to drop rapidly, strongly, intensely in a third wave, in a 3 of 3 move. Again, if this stays as intermediate 2, this is minor 1 of intermediate 3. This would be minor 2 of intermediate 3. And yes, it can go up and equal the starting point for this minor 1, and that's at 15,399. That's that high, comes in at 399. And if that happens, I can still label it as a minor 2, and we'd still be expecting a fairly devastating decline to kick in pretty much after. And if it is ending up being an irregular B wave, or even just a not irregular, so it doesn't create a new high, if it gets up this high, I'm still looking for a strong, basically devastating C wave. So whichever comes next, I believe it's going to be a strong decline that's going to really drive the market much lower, and below, for sure, below 14,368, for sure below that, and much lower, as a matter of fact. But dealing with what we got to get through before all that occurs is that we should expect additional upside. So next resistance is at 15,367. Then we have 15,460, I'm going to call it. Then we break, and there's a little bit of space in between. But 15,460, of course, breaks us above that 400 level, 15,400. That should provide some resistance in and of itself, because it's a previous high, and it would break to a new high. Whether the NASDAQ's really going to pause there or even consider it, based on action that we've recently seen, my answer would be no. They're not going to care. They're just going to push. And we've seen very strong gains in Facebook today. Google had a good up day. Amazon ended up having a good day. Even Apple came and ended up decent today. And these are all based on, Apple was based on, they had their Apple show or whatever they're going to call it today, and they're revealing all the new products. And that just turned a lot of people that were sellers into buyers. And so next up would be Apple's earnings. And again, those are on the 28th of October. So for tomorrow, I'm looking for continued upside, but I do think that we're a little bit overextended here on the 4-hour chart for sure. And on the hourly chart, which I'll go down to now, also extremely strong day. If you can see here, this is basically our opening. And then it was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Basically the entire day, the entire trading session produced up green bars. So an entire day was just nothing but upside. So in between there, we had some decent downside moves and able to trade them. But as a swing trade, you just bought it this morning and sat back and just let it go, because see what happened? And this again is the hourly chart. So, you know, a little bit something to look at, but the 4 moving average never got even broken through. So, except right there, coming into the opening, and then they just took it right above it, and then it just guided that trade all the way. Even this down move, which opened the Globex session today, touched it and then bounced. And then here we broke it and then recovered. And now it's taken it back and still just now heading higher. So I'm still looking for that. Now, whether this actually, if this completed the 4 and this, actually I probably have to move it over to here, and it's a little bit of a failure. No, I'm going to leave it there. This has got to be here. And this I'll figure out, but I don't think this is a 1, 2, and this is a 3, but it could be. So this, the 4 goes there, 1 and 2 of 5, 3 of 5, 4 of 5. So we might be in the 5th of the 5 of 5 move. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. I think even if I break this down, it's still not really going to show me anything different. As you can see, it's just as strong. But I will take this as the 4th wave coming in to the start of Globex. So a little tiny 4, and now we're moving up. And so I would definitely expect new highs. But if it indeed is the 5th wave, I would suspect that we're now going to likely start heading up at least 370. I really do think so. And that may complete it. And then we'll have to wait and see what goes on after that, because there's still a possibility that all of this is just going to extend out to be maybe wave 1 of a larger C wave. I don't know yet. This was extremely strong today, and we cannot ignore that, and we can't discount it, and we can't wish it away. It happened, and I think it provides a continued upward bias to the market as we're seeing them come in now, as the Asian markets begin to open, that they're going to continue to buy it. So we may end up way above that. We may end up above 15,400 before we even come in tomorrow morning and see what's going on. So continued upside. We have earnings reports coming out. Again, we won't know anything about Netflix until after the close tomorrow. So be prepared. Continue to use your moving averages. Trade smart. Don't get stuck in a position, even though you may think that this is way overdone. Doesn't make any difference. They may just continue to push it, and you end up being losing more than you want. So trade smart and use the moving averages, use the Elliott, use the Fibonacci. You can also draw intraday Fibonacci. You can do retracements and you can do extensions throughout the day. There is actually, let me just put one more on there. There's one that I can put on which might give us a little bit of a hint. And I could put what we could expect in a wave 5. And then I probably could do one more off of that. And that would bring it down. I'm going to go, what is that? Yeah, let's put it right there. So you can see, yeah, 53.51, 53.95, and boom, we're over. So even 100, it takes us up to 15,544. That brings us above that level. So I would suspect that that's where we're going to go. And we may even end up closer to 15,400 overnight in Globex. We'll wait and we'll see. And this is where I'm going to finish it for today. And our next update will be on Tuesday, the 19th.